Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast for a special episode, which is going to celebrate the anniversary of Doctor Who. And today I'm joined with Dalton, and we're going to be speaking about Doctor Who, of course. We're also going to be spend time talking about autism and mental health as well. Because yeah, it's all going to link in really well. So Dalton, it's great to have you on today, and thank you for saying that you'd like to come on.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, because I noticed it's your third podcast, so I'm glad that it's mine.
Yeah, it's quite nerve-wracking at first.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine what it's like for me. I do it quite a lot of the times, but do it with new people. So
You'd be more used to it than me.
I guess, yeah, yeah. But yeah. So Dalton, would you mind just doing a little introduction of yourself, saying a little bit about yourself?
Well, I mean, mainly what I do is mental health videos, just trying to help people mainly. Suffered with it for a long time, so just try and give back and help others that probably are most likely in a position that I used to be in years ago. Obviously, I used to be in a very bad position at one point in my life, but managed to get out of it a lot easier than most people do. So I just try and give back and help other people.
Yeah, I do enjoy your your content that you do because I think it's really like inspirational and yeah, I always see it on my like page, so I think you're doing a really good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because it's I think it's important like when speaking about mental health, like to maybe speak about when you're not doing so good as well as when you are. I think that is like important.
Yeah, you can't just let people see the one side of how much you're progressing. Like if you're having a bad day, people need to see that as well because it's more relatable to most people.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I've got more like a better understanding of mental health and like talking about it, especially since maybe like the first lockdown was in early 2020, because mental health is very I guess it's hard to understand, but because everyone has a different journey, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, very true.
Yeah, um, but like, how are you doing at the moment? with, with your mental health, Dalton?
Mentally, I'm doing a lot better, especially this year. I've really put myself into gear and just focused on myself. Stayed out of relationships, and I ended up cutting a lot of people off. I had a really big circle of friends, and then it's one of them things when you have a big circle and everything's going well for you, everyone wants to be around you, and then when you have a bad period in your life, then people just kind of fade away. They don't support you, they don't help you. So you find out who your true friends are in them moments. In your darkest moments, you find out who your loyal friends are.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because I always think it's best like to have a friendship group that can be there for you no matter what. Like if something happened in your life and like you say, you'll know who your true friends are.
Yeah, I mean, especially as a male, I mean, mental health alone is difficult. We get outcasted, and it's all based down on society really, on what they think a man is supposed to be. So a man ain't supposed to be emotional. I mean, who wants a guy that cries on his woman's shoulder? You know what I mean? Like that's not the stereotypical. That's a man. So it's difficult in that case, but what I'd mainly try and do is just to get men to realize that it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to express your feelings, and not feel like you have to be kept in the dark. Because I mean, suicide rates alone for males, especially last year and the year before, was at an all-time high. And if that doesn't open your eyes and realize like you can't just keep men like in the shadow and not allow them to actually speak how they feel.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more because like you say that they are going up. And it's dangerous, it's dangerous just to hear about that. Like we're in 2022 now, and you would have thought that would be happening. So, um, yeah, like the more people like you and talk about your journeys and like we said, like the bad times as well as when you're doing it but when you are in a good place, it's always important to talk about, and it is hard, because like just talking about it with people possibly who don't know you as well. So it's great. Just it's I guess it's a hobby as well, isn't it? Like sharing your story.
Yeah, it's definitely a hobby. Like I get a lot of thrill for some reason out of it, just being able to share my story. And I've spoke about my whole life so much now that it's actually helped me as well, because it helps me accept. And you find other people that have been through similar experiences to you, and you bond with them people, and you don't really feel so alone. I mean, if you don't talk, you're never going to really meet the people that can really be like, I understand exactly how you feel, like I've been there too. So speaking out about it is more important than what people really think.
Definitely, and like I like mental health is like it's getting like much larger now. I think than it has been, and like it is like like you feel like you like you're not alone as well. Like if you hear other people like who are maybe you do a video and then you get maybe comments that people understand what you're going through, and I guess like that is a plus when you do this kind of content, that you get possibly make friends out of it, and see other people's journeys that they're going through maybe a similar experience to yourself.
Yeah, to be fair, I get more messages than I do comments on videos. Like people that aren't really like confident in having their, opinion exposed on a video, or, expressing their feelings on a video, they'll message me personally and speak how they feel. Like I help so many people on a daily. It's unbelievable. And granted, most of them are females, but the male stature of it all coming up, and people messaging me is definitely becoming more um it's definitely becoming more frequent of males messaging me and be like, look, like I want to be able to do what you do. And it's like, you can't, it's the thing, it all translates back to society, but it all always comes back to one more thing. And for some reason, it's always to do with women. And that's what men always mention to me. It's like, because women want like an ideal man. And if you're not that ideal man, you're not going to get that woman. So, like I say, women will explain what they want out of a man, and a man will become what that woman wants. That's what I mean. Men don't really have their own personality. They don't really have their own like hobbies really to that much, to be honest, because they'll follow what they think women want to get the woman, because really that's what a man wants.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, and it is very draining, as well. I think, just trying to like put what like put let themselves first, like you try to put like your partner first when you can't, when you shouldn't really, but you just try to, I guess, impress them.
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time. Men do pretty much anything to try and impress a woman, whether it's going to the gym to try and get that ideal body that a woman would want, trying to watch stuff that she would be interested in. Like we all do, we always do what we think will intrigue them rather than intrigue ourselves.
Yeah, and like it's hard, because because it is it's hard because like you put like for example, texting is so much hard like in a relationship than like speaking to face, I think, because like you might not message all the time, and then you get in trouble for it because you're the one in the wrong about like from the from the partner, and it shouldn't be like that, because like you don't have to message someone 24/7 just to be with them.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And the main thing about that with texting as well is that you can't feel no emotion from it. There's nothing like when you're talking to someone, you can see their eye contact, how they speak, how they say certain things, whether you've made them feel uncomfortable, whether they're happy. You can't tell that over a text. They can only type it, and yet even when they do, you still don't really know.
No, no, it's hard, and nowadays it's hard getting into a relationship, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's incredibly difficult. I mean, especially with most women now, with what they do to themselves. I mean, how many girls do you know that do explicit content like on OnlyFans and stuff, like that's not really what a guy like me and you would want, but that's what every girl's wanting to do. Because I mean, fair enough, fair play to them. They're making what, double the money that they would make by doing a 9 to 5 job, easy, by taking about 3 pictures and selling them for double the profit that they would make in a normal job. If it's helping you live, fair enough. Like, I understand, but you're not gonna pull an ideal man like that. But I say with women as well, they preach what they want a man to be. Like, oh, I want a romantic and someone to treat me right. But then when they have it, they don't want it.
Yeah.
They'd someone that's, all the road man, and doesn't really care, doesn't really talk to them, doesn't really show them any affection. Women are just confusing, and again, that messes with men's mental health as well, because they just sit there and like, well, what do you want from me?
Yeah, it's like they quite a lot of the time I find they expect you to like let's go to a school setting, for example. If you have a crush on a girl and you think they do too, and they might give you some signs that that you may think that they like you, and if they do like you, they will wait for you to ask them out, and they won't do it to you.
Oh yeah, one thing I know about women is they love to play games. They love to play games. It's their massive forte. They'll flirt with you like crazy and then act like they don't want you. Like, they always do it.
Yeah, and then you think, and then you just get confused, don't you? And then you think, hang on, do you want me or not?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And again, it messes with your mental state completely.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
that's
one
it.
thing I one thing I tell the men that message me when it comes to like them being depressed over women, and them trying to be what they think a woman would want, I just say, just be yourself. Like you, like, I wouldn't ask you to be anything different to who you are. Like, obviously you're a massive Doctor Who fan. It's like the woman you're talking to may not be a massive Doctor Who fan, but you could get her into it. Again, it's something that you share. It's like, she could be into romantic movies. You may not be that much into romantic, but it's something you both do for each other and you get into it. It's something you can both do together. It's like me, I'm a massive pro wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling. So I've took women to pro wrestling events like WWE events and stuff, and like, I'm not really into all that. When they get there, they love it. So like, it's like, you do it together. They learn about what you love, and then you learn about what they love, and you bring it together and you make it into one. That's
Yeah,
what's so about being different. If you like the exact same thing as the woman you're trying to date, you do it once, and then once you've done it once, it's normal. It's nothing. Like, you want different experiences that they're like, oh, okay, well, I've never done that before. I've never really thought about doing that. Or I've never really watched that, but I'd give it a watch just to see what you find interesting about it, and then maybe they could find their love for it as well. And there you go. You've got more of a bond.
definitely. And like, I think with us being like autistic as well, that kind of brings on that kind of interest of like the things we like. Like you say, you like wrestling. I'm a massive fan about Doctor Who. So I like if I'm in a relationship, I might over like the girl may think I'm talking about maybe Doctor Who way too much than I should be. But and then like they just can't understand that. Like it's like something that I enjoy, which they should be respectful of.
Oh yeah, and again, it's something, because obviously of the autism, it's something that we can understand. It's something we relate to. So if we were talking about something and they didn't understand, we would use maybe something for like you, like a Doctor Who reference, or for me, like a pro wrestling reference that would help them understand. Like for me, when I talk about mental health, I use kind of boxing as like a metaphor for people to understand. Like, look, you may lose a couple of rounds, but just because you've lost a couple of rounds doesn't mean you've lost the whole fight. Like, you still got more rounds to go out there and try beat your demons. Like, the fight isn't over. You can still get up. You go back to your corner, you have a minute break, you take a breather, you go back out and you fight for your life, basically. Like,
Mm.
that's how I explain it. And people get it like that because they understand it. But and people think, oh, how do you think of these on the spot and all these metaphors? It's just, I go back to things that I've learned and things that I relate to help people understand in their own way.
Yeah, and it is I guess like it is much easier or I guess to if you're in a relationship with a person who is autistic as well. Um just so they understand because like still like in this like year, still people don't understand, and sometimes they may not accept you for who you are, if they don't understand you.
Oh yeah, well, autism is a difficult thing to understand because there's
Yeah.
so many different types of it. Like, you know, there's so many different spectrums of autism that it's hard to kind of pinpoint it to one thing. So it's like if you suffer with another illness, so like say if you suffer with depression or anxiety, it's pretty much everyone who suffers with that is pretty much the same. Like they have the same feelings. They get anxious about the same things. Whereas with autism, it's so different. Like the spectrum is so wide that it's hard to really pinpoint. Okay, well, I've met someone who's autistic, and you don't act like him. So it's but most people with autism are so different. Like because again, we gravitate towards different things all the time, but we are a blast to be around.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, because like, do you have any other interests? I know you like wrestling, but is there anything else that you like?
um any sport really. I love my football. I love my Formula 1 racing and stuff like that
Yeah,
mainly.
yeah, I love football too.
Who's your team then?
Um, my team is I support Ipswich Town. I do.
Oh, staying local. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. What about you,
Chelsea.
Chelsea? Yeah, they are doing I wouldn't say they're doing too well at the moment.
No, we're in transition, new manager, everything. It'll take time.
Did you agree with like the appointment or like when they set that your last manager?
Um, don't get me wrong. I'll always love Thomas Tuchel. Like he did wonders for us. Obviously won us Champions League and got us to many finals, and we played well under him. But I think when we got the new ownership, obviously he wanted an ideal situation. He didn't want Thomas being there anymore. He wanted to, start something new. Me, I even said before he got sacked, if he was to get sacked, I would want Graham Potter because I think the way Brighton were playing football was probably arguably out of Liverpool and Man City, Brighton were playing the best football in the league. So I wanted to play like Brighton. And like I say, look, it's going to take time for him to transition and build that into his own system and the players. And plus, all the players that he's got now aren't his players. Like he hasn't had a transfer window. So, you've just got to give him time to adapt. We're
Yeah,
probably going to smash later because we've got Manchester City in the cup. So we're going to get some. But it's just it's again like people were saying the same thing about Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. I mean, they finished eighth 2 seasons in a row, and then finished fifth last season, and now they're at the top of the league, and they're beating everyone. So you've just got to take the time and trust the process, really.
yeah. It takes a long time. Like Man United, for example, it's been the same situation for them for years, and like I think maybe at the moment they are starting to play better than they used to. But it's like maybe similar in Tottenham situation, like not like frequent. Like it's like when you have a new boss and a new kind of concept of playing, you have to like you say, you have to try and it's hard for the players, I guess, because like especially with Chelsea, there's more or less a new like person in charge quite a lot of the time. So it's always just learning.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's never managed at like a big club like this before, so it'll take time for him to really get used to it, and the rules are different. Like especially at Chelsea, like if you're not doing great, the odds are you're probably going to get sacked quite easily. But because we've got a new owner now who may not think like that, so he may actually give Graham the time that he needs to really give him put his philosophy into the team and move like that. But I agree on Man United. They've arguably got the best manager that they've had since Ferguson left.
Yeah.
Um, so, like I say, you just got to give them the time. They've been playing better. They're up and down really, but again, you just got to give him time to bring that philosophy in. Because again, they were thinking the same as us. Like, well, look what he's doing with Ajax, and look how good Ajax were playing. So he wants Man United to play the way Ajax did. But obviously, he's got more to get. It's Man United. They can attract bigger players, better players, and stuff like. And he's got more money to spend there. So yeah, you've just got to give him more time, really.
Yeah, and he bought a couple players from Ajax as well. So, and like with Brighton, like but before Graham was appointed, they did buy a Brighton player, didn't they? I think the left back. So he's got one face he knows, I guess.
Yeah. We brought Cucurella, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fingers crossed. But got a break coming up soon for the World Cup, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that's going to be chaotic.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be crazy because hopefully England, but I've seen like who we could face. We potentially we could get in the run of Argentina and Mexico and Holland kind of side. So for the most part, we miss Germany's and the Spain's and the Brazils until if we get to a bit further in. So fingers crossed, but I don't know if I hold much hope for us.
Well, it's the thing. We usually do better against the bigger teams than we do the smaller teams, to be honest. But it's the manager that we have that I don't like. He's too defensive. Like England have such good attacking talent that we play so defensive. I mean, we play five defenders with two holding midfielders and then three attackers, pretty much. And like we need, I think if we played more attacking football, we'd win more games. But Southgate's just a negative manager. He's too defensive. If we had more of an attacking manager, then I feel like we'd do a lot better against most teams. But I guess you just got to, I mean, there's not really anyone that you could really replace with Southgate. I mean, Eddie Howe, he's at Newcastle and he's doing well. We've got Graham Potter. He's not going to leave Chelsea or he's not going to leave Newcastle for the England job anytime soon. So, I
No,
mean, it's got to
yeah,
stick with Southgate. I mean, I always wanted Harry Redknapp to take over England at one point, but never happened.
no. I think he got offered it. He might have got offered it, but yeah. Like I think I agree because like half a dozen. When the when he names his squads, you got half a dozen right backs, half a dozen left backs, and like you think like you want to be more attacking with with your play, but he seems to do all right in tournaments, but he kind of gets that curse from not going to the final like leap. Like we got to a semi-final and then we got to a final. Um, I think potentially if we don't do well, if we don't get to a final or semi, he might leave. He's been there a while, hasn't he? So who knows?
Yeah, I think he would end up either being sacked or just leaving. But the thing that people seem to forget, like people use that argument against me about, oh, he's made it to a final and a semi final. It's like, well, look at the teams we had to beat just to get there. Like they weren't exactly the hard. We didn't play France in the Euros. We played Germany, but they wasn't exactly great. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, it wasn't that long before that Germany got knocked out by, I think it was like North or South Korea or Japan in the World Cup in the group stages. So Germany weren't exactly on the greatest of terms at that point. Who else did we face? I think we faced Hungary or Switzerland, or
Yeah.
we faced Ukraine as well. The first team that we came up against that was actually a hardest challenge was Italy. And to be fair, we should have beat them. Like in the final, we should have definitely beat them. But it's just
Yeah.
the way. It's just unfortunately the way it goes. I mean, Italy aren't even in the World Cup because they couldn't qualify. So
You
it
haven't
says,
qualified the last two, have they?
I mean, it's what you need. All you need to know. And we got beat by them.
And they lost to some team that not even in the World Cup as well, didn't they? Early to qualify.
Yeah, I think it's like Moldova or something like that. I can't remember what it's. I
Yeah,
can't remember. I know the flag, but I can't remember what the
yeah,
team's called.
yeah. I can't remember either. But yeah, like you say, we've had easy run-ins. Like you say, the last two competitions, teams haven't been at their best. Like you say, Germany, they haven't. Even Spain got knocked out as well. Like in the it might have been in the Euros or the World Cup. A lot of the big team nations got knocked out by little clubs, and we had a good run-in when we got to the final against Italy, but we didn't do well. And like you could say that was because Italy were more or less cracking our players and the majority of the time and stuff. And
Oh
but
yeah, I
yeah,
mean we scored in the first 2 minutes. I mean that was the biggest, that was the greatest thing we could have done, was score early, and then we should have just kept going at them. But again, Southgate being Southgate, he decided to sit back and just let him have the ball, and then let him pick us apart, and then that's where it all fell apart. Obviously on the penalties, penalties are penalties. It can go either way, really, can't it?
yeah,
So
we were very unlucky there. But like you say, like the tournament before we got knocked out by Croatia. I don't think even if we beat Croatia, we would have beaten France. Um, but yeah, and then we lost Italy. So who knows? It's all very unpredictable about what could happen and what will.
Oh yeah, we'll have to see. But I mean, with how the season is at the minute, you know, playing so many games as it is, and then you got to go straight to the World Cup, and you know, half the players are going to be knackered. I mean, going to be absolutely exhausted just from playing half a season with the amount of games they've played. You know, I mean, obviously a lot of players are injured that aren't even going to the World Cup anymore. Like, you know, Reece James, obviously he can't go to the World Cup. Probably some other English players as well that, you know, I mean, Chilwell as well. That's another left back gone, which is one place where we do suffer, to be honest.
Yeah,
But you know, a lot of players from Brazil, and I think even Messi's injured and doesn't know if he's going to make it to the World Cup, and it's going to be his last one.
yeah, it is like it's not good with all these like I don't. It's a weird time as well, isn't it? Like to have a World Cup midway through a season.
Oh yeah. It's absolutely chaotic. But I think the only reason they're doing it is because of the weather basis in Qatar. Like if they would have done it earlier, when they would usually do it, it would have just been way too hot.
Yeah, yeah. I think the next World Cup is going to be like America, Mexico. Um, so I'd have thought that that'll be earlier in the year, back to normal. But I guess if we did win it for Christmas. So there we go.
Oh yeah, it'd be a good Christmas present for England if we won it. But I'm not holding my breath.
No, it's England we're talking about.
Yeah, we're unpredictable as predictable.
Yeah. So Dalton, let's move on to Doctor Who. When did you kind of like first start watching Doctor Who?
As far as I can remember, my first Doctor, what was his name? Christopher something.
Eccleston.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was my first Doctor. So when Rose first came into it and stuff like that, that was my first experience with Doctor Who. I can't actually remember what episode. I think it was with. I think I missed the first. I think I missed the. No, I think that was the first episode with the girl who turns into like she needs to spray. I think it's Cassandra or something.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that was my first episode, and after that, I was just pretty much hooked.
Yeah, I think that was like the one where had all the like you had Cassandra and then I think she burst at the end.
Yeah. I think it was like the end of the world sort of thing, and they was in
Yeah.
the thing watching it burn basically,
Yeah.
and she wanted to be like the last ever human.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then from there, I was just I just kept watching it all the time.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was.
Yeah, he was a good doctor. He was a very good doctor.
Yeah, I started watching from Crystal Eccleston as well, and like you got hooked ever since it was him, and then yeah, so, until now. Do you like do you have a doctor like you? Yeah, do you have like a favorite doctor?
Oh, David Tennant by far, by
David
far.
Tennant.
It's uncomparable to me. It's like he's like the Heath Ledger to my Batman. Like like Heath Ledger as the Joker is uncomparable. So it's like with David Tennant, it's the same thing. Like I mean, it was so hard to actually like Matt Smith after David Tennant because it's like you're good, but you're not him. It was just too early. I
Yeah.
really wanted to like Matt Smith because he was good, but it was just hard to like him after David Tennant. Like, how do you follow that?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I remember when the regeneration, like end of time part two, and I was literally crying because David Tennant left.
Oh yeah, I was gutted. I was so upset when he was like, "I don't want to go." I was like,
Um,
"No."
oh yeah, I saw the behind the scene stuff, and he was gonna do it more like emotion, like he was physically crying himself. Um,
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't because it would make it a whole lot of time worse.
Oh yeah, you can tell how much you can tell how much you loved it. Although
Yeah,
I did discover something really weird not long after that. It it made me feel so weird after you know the episode that he did. I think it was with Donna. Was it with? Oh yeah, Martha was in it as well.
yeah,
You know when he has like a daughter.
yeah.
The fact that he's married to her now is just so weird.
That is funny.
I was like, you basically just married like your on-screen daughter.
Yeah. I would have thought they weren't together at the time, and I don't know if they were or not, but I would have thought that they just went maybe for a drink or something after they were on set or something.
Yeah, I don't think they were together when it happened. That'd have been even weird to role play, even if they
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah. It's quite funny because like you got Peter Davison is her father, and they're all related and stuff.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, and like of course they got a son who was in like the House of Dragon series, and he'll potentially possibly be a doctor in the future, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, Matt Smith's in that as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they're all together.
yeah, all doctors in that. Yeah, Matt Smith is. I do like Matt Smith as like a villain. Um,
Yeah, I
he
agree. Good villain.
yeah, and like that that was weird. Later realizing that they're married now.
Yeah, it is. I always thought she was going to come back because obviously she survived and escaped in the rocket towards the end. So I always thought she was going to make another appearance somewhere like down the line, but she never did.
Yeah, I thought that too because of course like they all thought she died, like the Doctor and Donna and Martha, um, and then she didn't. Like she come back. Um,
Yeah. Who was your favorite companion though?
my favorite companion is between Donna and Rose.
I
Um, my two favorites.
Yeah, I agree. They're both different. Like Rose had the in love with him, and Donna was just so comedic. Like she was so funny. Like she always made me laugh.
Yeah, I'm so happy that she's coming back as well. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be funny.
Yeah, um, because like with Russell T Davies coming back as well, you just know Doctor's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm interested to see how they're all gonna like play it out and how they're gonna make it all make sense. To be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, um, because like when you saw like in the Power of the Doctor when he came on the screen, like you just remember like the first thing he said when he regenerated from Christopher Eccleston to David, he said, "I've got new teeth," and then he says, "I know these teeth," which like references back all of those years.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wonder how he feels about like just doing it again. I mean, obviously he's probably like overjoyed for being able to play the Doctor again, but it must feel weird for him.
Yeah, like I saw an interview, not that long I saw after the episode, and he was saying that like he was getting asked, are you a bit like how you feeling about like do you think it'll be different like because you were the 10th incarnation, will that like overshadow you being the 14th? And he said he wasn't nervous at all because he said with Russell T Davies writing it, he knows it's going to be good and he'll do anything for Russell T Davies when he writes a script.
Yeah, yeah. I think he was definitely the best at writing scripts for sure.
Yeah, I just remember all those great episodes. Like I know he only did like Eccleston and David, but like I just every episode was good. Like you may have the odd one that you maybe didn't like as much as another, but they all had a really good entertainment in it.
Yeah, there's not really one David Tennant one that I can't really recall that I didn't like, if I'm quite honest. Even with any of the companions that he had, I thought pretty much every episode was spot on. It was always entertaining.
Yeah, and I like that he could like if you had a plot in a series that would either get resolved in that series or get resolved maybe a series or two later.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like with like maybe the last few series like there was a massive plot and nothing got answered, so it was a bit of it was very confusing, so that was the difference between the two.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because and like you had this timeless children's storyline. You had this Ruth Doctor who you still didn't really know who she was even at the end. And you had a watch as well that never got open, and you never knew what those lost memories were. So all that kind of stuff was kind of pointless, really.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that's one of my favorite episodes actually to do with the watch. You know when what was it? I think it was the Blood family.
oh yeah, I like
Where,
that one.
yeah, where he has to pretend where he's like human and Martha's got to keep him safe from him for like a period of time until they die out.
Yeah, I like that one. It's like it was human, wasn't he, the Doctor?
Yeah, and he obviously he fell in love with that girl.
Yeah. But did you know, Darwin? You saw that girl who he was in love with at the end of Time Part Two, like
Oh
when he come to visit them.
yeah, when she's selling the book.
Yeah, yeah. That I later realised I thought that was the same lady, but it's not. It's the one selling the book was like a
Like a great grand.
family. Yeah, yeah, like a great like grandma or something. So I was like just played by the same person.
Yeah, it was crazy. And she looked up and saw him and like just kind of knew it was him because he went to go kind of visit everyone, didn't he?
Yeah,
Before
I liked that when he did that.
I did really like the master one as well.
Yeah,
That was a really good episode. It's probably the one time where I thought, oh, like this is gonna be dangerous because
yeah,
he played that so well. Like he was such a good like evil like Time Lord.
yeah. I loved it like because like even when like the Master died in like the Last of the Time Lords kind of like episodes and he it was good because you could actually feel like he was going and then he comes back at the end, which I thought was a good way to finish David as the 10th Doctor.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Another actually campaign I like Wilfred as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was good. Is that was that the Donna's dad one it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he sadly passed not long ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Um, but that was pretty sad. I'm not normally like I guess emotional or anything on like people who are not family, but I was pretty sad about that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I was as well. It's weird because especially from a childhood sort of thing when you grow up like watching them and you get really drawn to the character and the person. It's the same with me when like if like a pro wrestler dies or like someone's music that I really love like when they pass and stuff you do feel it, especially when you re-listen to it or you re-watch the episodes of them and it's like, oh god, like, I'm never going to be able to like really get this again.
That's it. That's it. And I think it's gonna be a little bit in the 60th as well. So that it's good to know that his last show he ever was in was Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Watford might be a massive part of why that maybe why the 40th Doctor is involved with them again, possibly.
Yeah,
Um,
it would surprise me.
yeah, because he'll probably see him or something, and then something will happen, or so some trick will be played where maybe the memories are back or something.
Yeah, because obviously Donna recognizes him, and obviously she couldn't do that because obviously her brain would have fried. So it'd be interesting to see how they pull that off.
Yeah, it might be a situation like with Peter Capaldi when Clara died, like she had a certain time to do something. It
Yeah,
might be a situation like that because I know the toy maker is heavily linked within the plot with like Neil Patrick Harris. He may have done that maybe just for maybe a certain time being or something. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm very excited. I love the trailer at the end of the Power of the Doctor episode.
Yeah, the trailer looks really, really, really good. I am really looking forward to it. I always look forward to Doctor Who around Christmas time.
Yeah, it is really good. I don't think it's on this Christmas though, but I think we have to wait a little bit till like it all. But it's gonna be really exciting when it all we can watch it.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah. But you know when in the trailer he said I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah.
I remember, his first ever episode with he woke up and he said um he came out the TARDIS and then he was saying I don't know who I am. It kind of referenced to that a little bit as well.
Yeah, when what was it? What were the freaking creatures? That's when he fought bored.
Yeah, like it's on that
The
ship, weren't
Sycorax.
it? With like Harriet Jones and stuff.
I think it was the Sycorax, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, who are you? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, other than that, I generally just don't know.
yeah. There's so much there already. It's bringing you back, and the 3 watts as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a trip down memory lane. That.
Yeah, yeah. Because he said it all through a lot of times. Like the 10th Doctor sayings are like you got what well, Alonzi he says. I wonder if he will say Alonzi.
Oh yeah, I think he probably will. He always used to say brilliant as well.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Um, it is great because like it's going to be hard as well because we'll have to see him change again to Shooty.
Oh yeah, I think he's only having like 3 episodes in there or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he's having 3 episodes, but I would have thought there'll be maybe extra long episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like they're going to be longer than a usual episode.
Yeah, like we had the Paradox was hour and a half. It might be similar to that time frame.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll definitely be a lot longer than just like a normal, like a kind of 45-minute episode sort of thing.
Yeah, like kind of a series, but
Yeah,
just 3 episodes because a series is normally about 45 minutes an episode, and you could probably get maybe 3 episodes in the first special, and then maybe like kind of that kind of stuff.
yeah, but it'd be kind of like 3 episodes turned into one movie.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited because you've got like I think there's lots behind the scenes that we haven't been told as well, so it's lots of surprises as well.
Yeah, I wish I'd find a way to bring K9 back.
Oh, I love K9.
K9's the best.
Yeah, I even got like like him down there. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah, I've seen your videos of
Yeah,
K9.
it's funny. K9 is he's one of my favorite companions.
Oh yeah, yeah. For me, like obviously I've got a real dog now, but I'd trade him in for a tin dog.
Yeah, yeah. It would be great. Like I used to have like where you had that like robot like back when David Tennant was the Doctor, but you could have a K9 like robot where you can actually control. I
Yeah.
had one of them.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, but
I
I
had
am
a,
so looking forward to it.
I used to have that when I was a kid. I used to have a wardrobe that was the TARDIS.
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, yeah, I got that when I was a kid. I just kept it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it must have been when either David Tennant or Matt Smith was the Doctor. I got it from John Lewis, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought when you go to places and you think it's just there for like it's just people just can see it and you can't buy it.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of them, but it was the last one in stock. I got it. Well, I didn't get it because I was very young at the time. So I got my mum to get it, but yeah, I like it.
Oh yeah. You can't go wrong with it. I mean, if my mum would have seen one when I was younger and didn't buy it, oh, I would have been devastated.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. The only thing I was very sad about that it's not like real, is it?
Oh no. I mean, I used to have a Dalek bin as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, I used to have I used to collect all especially when Matt Smith was the Doctor. You could get those especially like in Tesco and stuff like collect his like merchandise like Lego kind of stuff I used to collect all that.
Oh yeah, I used to collect all the they were like kind of like match attacks.
Yeah.
We used to cards and stuff like that and play like top trumps with them and stuff. I used to do that
Oh
all
yeah.
the time.
I remember having the DS and playing Doctor Who Top Trump, and I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I wish they could bring something like that back. I would like a good Doctor Who game. Um, Like like you got you know in that new Harry Potter game coming out early next year.
Yeah.
I want something like that, maybe for like Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'd love that. I'd love them to make like a Doctor Who world. You know, like how they've got like the Harry Potter world sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Because there's so much history with Doctor Who, you could put so much, like so many artifacts into like such a big building and like make it how like the Harry Potter world is. Because my friend went to Harry Potter world and said it was amazing, but
yeah,
absolutely amazing with the train station and the buildings and stuff like that. Like she said, it's weird. Like you feel like you're actually there. I'd love that as Doctor Who. Like actually walking into some sort of like TARDIS door and then seeing the inside of it and
yeah.
like like the different planets that you could recognize and stuff like that. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would love that. Like, I went to the World of Wonder, but it's good, but it's not like the same. It just has little bits what were in Doctor Who. I never went to the Doctor Who experience in Cardiff because I was too young to go.
Yeah,
But with Russell T Davies here, but I guess some of this stuff could be brought back. He wants it to be more diverse. Like it's going on. It's on Disney Plus, isn't it, for people who can't access it? So it's getting Doctor's getting better now.
yeah, yeah. I think when he was writing it, and especially when David and stuff was there, I feel like Doctor was definitely its most popular at that point.
Yeah,
It had more eyeballs on it than any time.
yeah, and I think it's slowly coming back now. Like I'm looking forward to Shooty as well when he comes in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be weird seeing him as the Doctor, considering like the previous characters that I've seen him in as before. Like, because the first thing I've seen him in was a series called Sex Education. So
Yes,
it's like I've watched that, and now I'm gonna see him as the Doctor. It's just gonna be weird.
yeah, that it's gonna be weird, but I think he'll take a different. It won't be like he was in Sex Education. I think it might take some of the humor possibly because he was quite
Oh
funny.
yeah, yeah, he is funny.
Yeah, like I like it that he is going to be the Doctor, uh, because I think he's like he's done alright in Sex Education, and then he's on to Doctor Who. So, like I know he's in the 60th somehow. He's wearing the same clothes as something David Tennant was. So it's gonna be interesting how that all turns out.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good actor. I feel like he'd do a good job, but again, it all just depends on the writers
Yeah,
and how they portray him, really.
yeah, and the music as well. I think the music plays a massive part in Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. I wonder how his TARDIS is gonna look.
I do too. Like I'd like a purple TARDIS.
I feel like for him they would because he's quite camp. So I
Yeah,
feel like he would like bedazzle it a bit.
yeah. I wasn't much fan of Jodie's TARDIS.
No, I wasn't either. I quite liked Peter Capaldi's with like when it turned around and you had all the numbers and stuff. But I still think even though David Tennant's looked old and kind of rusty, I still thought that looked the best.
Yeah, because I think especially like Matt Smith, he changed his TARDIS changed like halfway through him as a Doctor,
Yeah, it did.
which I didn't mind. Um, I guess because he was more dark towards the end is why they did that.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think they should always like just try change it and keep it fresh for who like whatever Doctor like just kind of try and suit their personality and who they are.
Yeah, yeah because I've got a feeling that Shooty's outfit is going to be very colourful.
Yeah, I do. I feel like he's going to be that one with like who used to wear the scarf.
Yeah, like similar to Colin Baker kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think so. And it like when you like to take do like cosplaying like me, and you like to do Doctor Who content, and it's nice we have a new Doctor. But if they're one you like, yeah, you want to get all the clothes, don't you?
oh yeah. More money to spend for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. At the minute, just looking for 14th Doctor stuff. So
I mean, when you get older, it's just good memories and stuff, isn't it? Really, so it's just stuff you can look back on and like look back at your childhood and like even when you was a young adult and everything that you had and brought at the time, look back on it and think, oh God.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I do like David Tennant's new suit. Because his it's a similar in a way to his temp suit in a little bit, like his waistcoat and stuff.
Yeah, it is. You can tell it's very similar, but there is a bit new some sort of new stuff towards it.
Yeah, I think the only different maybe like he wore a blue coat as well, and which is similar, um, but just a bit longer. And look, maybe the only different, yeah, he has a silver colored tie.
Yeah, it still looks like him and like the like kind of the way we remember, just a bit more modified.
Yeah, and older.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would you like to see maybe because of course we had Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures. Do you think we should get more maybe new shows like with Doctor Who, but just maybe new kind of shows like that?
Well, yeah, do you mean like sideshows and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I always thought they were going to do something with Martha and Mickey because obviously they ended up getting together, didn't they?
Hmm.
Through Dave, through David being there. So I thought they would have done something like that. I'm glad they did it with Sarah Jane, but I thought they would have done something with Mickey at least, Mickey and Martha.
Yeah.
Because
I
Martha was the only one that didn't die or have like a bad experience towards the ending with him. Like
mm,
she kind of left in her own peace. So I kind of thought she could have just done something else.
yeah. It wouldn't make sense. It's going to be interesting because we know like units coming back for the 60th, and you know Martha might be a part of that kind of unit setup. Um,
Yeah, I love it when they all come back and get together. Like when it was the when the Daleks were taking over the planets, and I forgot the that guy's name. He's a Dalek, but he's not really a Dalek. Can't
Davros.
remember. Yeah, Davros. Yeah. You know when Rose came back, and you know like Rose and David had that moment where like they saw each other in the street and they were running towards each other, and then he got exterminated. But you know, because you had Rose and you had her mom, you had Mickey,
Did
Sarah Jane,
everyone?
yeah, Donna, yeah, you had them all, and it was amazing. That obviously, I think that was like Donna's last episode, wasn't it? When because she took some of the time vortex out of her hand, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, and it was a good episode, and you had another doctor. So even for another like side show, you might have like the human doctor where the doctor can play because that can get older.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could do that with Rose in the other
Yeah,
world.
yeah, they could, yeah, and that that will be good, and just something where maybe other companions who were in Doctor Who before can just be do a side kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like they could do so much more with it as like a like on the side rather than just the actual Doctor itself. Because then you really just get invested in the other characters rather than just the main two. I mean, even with Captain Jack, like I mean, he's never really gonna die, is he? So like you can just keep you could just continue. I mean, they did Torchwood and stuff, but you could just continuously do stuff with him.
Yeah, and River Song as well.
Oh yeah, River Song. She's
Yeah,
always about. She always pops in and out though, doesn't she?
yeah, yeah, and like you could even do your own master show if you if they wanted, like the background story of that.
Yeah, they could. Because we didn't really know much about him, to be honest, beforehand.
No, like the first time we saw him was with David Tennant.
Yeah, that's when he was the old man.
Yeah,
And then obviously he went into the TARDIS and then became the Harold Saxon.
he did. It was really good. Like I like that episode, and like it was the start of like you had to watch as well. Like you saw that again, so it is really good, and I'd like to see. Well, I think we will get some more side shows, but I don't want too many. Maybe one or two to start off with, um, just so like because I do like the sometimes I wait to watch Doctor Who because it just gets you excited.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, the build up to this is exciting. Just kind of wondering what they're going to do with it all.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I would love it. I love to have the Christmas episodes back as well.
Yeah, it was always my favorite time, just having them on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and I mean, I did like when the Power of the Doctor wasn't a Christmas episode for a regeneration, because we were used to having a regeneration at Christmas. And it's quite funny. Like most of the New Who Doctors have done a Christmas special and gone for that. So glad it was a
Yeah,
change.
I mean, it would have been good, like, because the waiting and the anticipation of it all, considering Jodie regenerated quite early, like not obviously on Christmas Day. Like at least we saw who the new Doctor is, and then you could have done the new episode on Christmas Day, because then it just keeps people waiting, and it's the excitement of like, oh, like what's going to happen here, instead of like leaving it on Christmas Day when they regenerate and then having to wait months
Yeah.
like to new episode. That's probably the most frustrating thing. Like seeing them regenerate on Christmas and then having to wait months to actually see the first episode of them. Whereas like in this case, like everyone knows Christmas Day, everyone knows Doctor Who is normally on the Christmas Day, like usually. So I think that's how I would have done it personally.
Yeah, they could do that, like just like when they've done the regeneration, just have one episode, and then you can maybe wait a while for for the next like the series to start or something.
Yeah, yeah. I think it keeps people more invested in the show itself. Like you've always got to leave some sort of cliffhanger, which in this case it's exactly what they've done. Like they've attached to our inner child with David Tennant, and thought, nah, right, we're going to leave this as a cliffhanger for a while until we bring out the episodes with him. So it's something that everyone wants to see because everyone remembers David Tennant. It's like even people that haven't watched Doctor Who in years, I feel like would come back just to watch what they're going to do with David Tennant.
Yeah, like it just brings back so many like kind of fans back, which like I knew something like this was going to happen, because I said before the episode started, Power of the Doctor, that David Tennant will be returning. I know it, and then he changed his clothes, which they don't normally do, and like but because it would be too much maybe for Shooty, because to come in the 60th anniversary when no one knows him really in Doctor Who.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a bit. He's got, like I say, he's got massive shoes to fill. But
Yeah,
I feel like he'll pull it off. I feel like it'd be good.
I do. I think he'd be really good. Um, I'd either like speaking about the music, either have Mario Gold or just a good composer
Yeah,
that does good music. Because nothing against the guy who did the last few series. I know he's leaving with the whole kind of crew, but I didn't really get like the music, because I know the 13th theme. 13th theme was good, but nothing else I really knew.
nah, no, not really. I mean, David Tennant's was like this sort of best thing. I didn't really like how they altered it that much after it. Like, I like the original sort of sound that he had. Then after that, it just kind of went a bit off script. Like, it didn't really sound like the Doctor Who theme like towards the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and like when you just having companions having their own theme when they're on the screen, like there wasn't really that. It was more or less just really quiet music. It was,
Yeah, yeah.
which it needed to be a bit louder, I think.
And that's the thing. The music's so powerful. Like, it creates the setting for the whole scene. And like you really like. I mean, when you listen to like Rose's Doomsday, that sort of music, like when you feel it, like you feel the emotion that they're both feeling when she's trapped in the other world, and he's back in the original, and when the palms are against the wall
Yeah,
from each side, it's an emotional moment, and you can feel it, and the music's loud and it's there. So yeah, I think they've definitely like underestimated the actual power of music and how it catches people's emotions.
yeah, and imagine if that weren't music weren't there.
Yeah,
On
it would have been weird.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like with the 13th Doctor kind of stuff. Like you heard her theme, but like in certain situations, music could have been useful for other scenes.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Like I did like the regeneration. Is like one of my probably favourites up there with David's regeneration.
Oh yeah, Yeah, it was definitely. I think the way that it looked definitely looked really good. I thought David's generation when he went to Matt Smith was good.
Yeah, I did
Um,
like that.
yeah, I think even the one where David Tennant came from Christopher was good as well. Yeah, the only one that was quite shocking was the Matt Smith to Capaldi because of how fast it was.
Yeah,
But then they built up a lot of anticipation for the Jodie one from Peter.
yeah. I did like Peter's regeneration, but I just thought it was a bit long.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just because like it's the first time it being a girl, and they're
Mm.
trying to keep the audience waiting a bit longer, the anticipation, and just try and shock the. I mean, everyone pretty much knew it was going to be Jodie Whittaker, so by that point anyway, so it wasn't really much of a surprise, but I get what they was trying to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. I did like Jodie. I do like Jodie as an actor, but I just feel like her like it was all to do with the writing, wasn't it? That was a bit bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's only really one episode I can think of that I actually really enjoyed that really comes to mind, and that was the Rosa Parks one.
Mm.
Because that, I mean, to be fair, most of her episodes were like that. It was like stuff that was already part of history that she wasn't really allowed to change, but like there was like her companions were just experiencing. Like instead of like reading about it or hearing about it, you're actually seeing it. Whereas obviously with the Rosa Parks thing, they couldn't interfere because obviously that's a massive part of history. So, but that I think that was again with the even with the music when they used the Rise Up song when it was all sat on the bus, like that was powerful. Like I felt that.
I did like that one. The one thing about that episode I'd say is I think that they should have not. I think they included a villain in the episode as well, which I don't think they should have. I think they should have just kept it to the racism as the Rosa Parks story.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But that was a good episode. But that I think that series as a whole wasn't good at all because it didn't have a story to it. It was just a separate episode. You didn't have to watch Doctor Who before, which I thought that's what they were trying to get at. Like you could be new to Doctor Who and not watch it before.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for her because like her acting was actually pretty good as the Doctor, but she didn't have much to really do. Like you look at all the adventures that David and Matt went on, and even Christopher to an extent, like all the stuff they did, like and all the fighting and all the talking and stuff. She didn't really have much to do. She didn't really show how smart she was in most cases in them sort of situations in stages of panic. So it was quite underwhelming at most times. But again, that's all just down to the writers. You can't really put it on her.
No, no, you can't put it on her. It's not a fault at all. Um, but like you say, my top episodes is Rosa, Influx. I did like the Centauran and the Weeping Angel episodes as well.
Oh yeah, I've always loved the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, I think every Weeping Angel episode has been really good. But the only like Flux was good, but I didn't like the Dark. I didn't really like any of the Dalek episodes. Um, I just thought I don't know, like they brought Captain Jack in to get viewers. I think that's the reason he came in. Um,
Yeah.
didn't do much really, did he?
No, not really. No, I don't like how they've like changed the look of the Cybermen either. Even the Daleks, they just look a lot thinner. Like I liked how they looked big and bulky and like I don't know, they just looked more dominant.
Yeah,
Rather, I mean, I liked when I think it's when Peter was doing it. Like some of them were different colors and stuff like that, and it just that was fine. Like, I did a bit of a different element and stuff. But obviously, when David there was the one different colored one. I think that was Dalek's Sec. I think he was the main. I think he was the black one, wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So it's like you could tell he was the leader, so it made it obvious. So, but the rest, like even the rest of them, they just looked fine. But I don't like how they've kind of altered the look of the Cybermen and the Daleks, really.
Yeah, me too. And like when like I think it was Max's first Dalek storyline where they had the he had a red Dalek, like an orange Dalek. Like, what did you think of those kind of Daleks? Because they were all kind of different colours.
I didn't mind the different colors because I think with different colors I guess you can kind of tell the certain roles. Like, um, like obviously the black one was the main leader in the cult Scaro, and then with these ones, like I think the red one was like the main one. It was like the main leader. So again, it's like you can just tell it's kind of like ranks, like kind of like in the army, like
Yeah.
depending on what star you are and stuff like that. So I think to that, but you can still keep the original ones just as like just as the normal ones that aren't really that special, but they're just there kind of thing. Because I remember he had one with an army one as well, didn't he? When they did the Winston Churchill episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was cool. Like just seeing a Dalek in like sort of an army sort of way.
Yeah, I liked that episode. It was a good one. Like Matt, like the first three Doctors, Chris Eccleston, um, David Tennant, and Matt Smith, I did enjoy. It was just since Matt Smith left, it went a bit downhill. Doctor Who, with Peter Capaldi, but he got better like towards the end of his being the Doctor.
Yeah, it was hard to get in at the start when he first started, but yeah, as it got on, it definitely started to improve.
Yeah, and I don't say that because he was leaving and I didn't like him. It's just because it didn't. It was much better.
Yeah, I didn't really like his companion towards the end as well. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't really get along with her.
Yeah, I think she maybe wasn't that long enough. And she didn't really get much to do either, so that was pretty rushed.
Yeah, yeah. I think they was just rushing it a lot and not really taking time. Like again, it's all down to the writers at that point. But I mean, like I say, you can only do what you dealt with.
Yeah, what I think they should have done is I think Clara was there too long. They should have done something with Clara much sooner, or they keep Clara the way she was and just he didn't have a companion towards the end. He could just do that series alone.
Yeah, I think they probably should have done that. I mean, Clara was good. I really enjoyed Clara. She was definitely a good companion with Matt Smith. I did like Amy Pond as well,
Yeah,
even
Amy
though it was
Pond's
quite confusing. But
good.
yeah, them two was definitely again because it's the same thing with like Rose. Like, oh, you can't replace Rose. Martha was good, and then Donna was good. So you just think, oh, how are you gonna how are you gonna top that? And then Amy Pond came in again. At the start, I wasn't keen on her that much, and then she got better as the episodes went on. And Clara, I always liked Clara.
Yeah, she, she was good. Well, what I think should have happened was like have hit that series alone, pick Capaldi, and then um as Joe Whittaker had hers, I think Bill would have been good with her. Um,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I agree.
because I guess it would have been good because like Yaz loved the Doctor, and I think Bill would have as well. It um it would have been good. Like I probably one of my favourite people in Joe Whittaker's era would have been Bradley Walsh. I did like him.
Oh yeah, I thought he was brilliant in it. I was
Yeah,
surprised. I was surprised to see him in it, but he was surprising a lot better than what I thought he was going to be.
yeah. He was. I think the like he took I think inspiration maybe from Wolfram Mott being like the granddad kind of role. So it's the first time we saw a kind of a granddad figure since him. So I think
He,
he did good.
I mean, I didn't obviously because they tried to make Yaz mainly the main sort of companion. I thought, but I think he just overtook it. it was the, it was just the main one that was more entertaining for me.
Yeah. Do you remember when he met John, like Captain Jack, and Captain Jack thought he was a doctor, and I thought to myself, so do I. I think he's the doctor too.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that was quite funny. Um, but yeah, I was a bit ashamed that he left sooner because it wasn't as good when he left. After the two series that he did,
no, I agree. I thought it was a lot better when he was in it.
like Dan was okay, but he's a bit of a pointless character. He didn't do much.
No,
Um, like in the last episode, like he leaves like within I think I probably had 10 minutes in the episode. I didn't think that was great.
No, it wasn't as good as what I thought. Like when he came back, I was happy to see him, and I thought he was gonna have, like I thought he was gonna play more of a big role in it, but yeah, he just kind of faded out.
Yeah, like even if he left the TARDIS, I would have thought maybe like they could have shown that girl, him going to that girl and saying like I've gone now and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah,
they could have added something like that, but the best part of the episode, apart from the ending, was like the scene at the end when all the companions were there and the doctors in the Guardians of the Edge bit.
yeah. There was all in like a circle for therapy, wasn't there?
They were, um, which it was good. Like you had, I think, our first Doctor companion there as well, which uh, was really good. So I give credit to Chris Chibnall. His writing hasn't been good all the time, but I did think he did all right with that last story.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, because he did write, he's good when he writes alongside maybe another showrunner. Like he read Matt Smith's side luring episodes, so
Yeah,
he read them, which they were good. He I think he read maybe the dinosaurs on the spaceship episode, which was I like that episode too. So he's good when he's with maybe another showrunner, but maybe Doctor Who. He wrote some Torchwood as well, so he's okay sometimes, but yeah, it just varies.
yeah. He's sort of hit and miss, isn't he, on most things. Like he can get it right when he wants to, but most of the time he's kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, like with that last episode, there was so long wait to see when it was going to be and like what is it going to be called. So as long as I think people have had to wait to know what's happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know we're not going to be getting Doctor Who for 60th like till possibly November, but I know Russell will always be like putting updates out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see what they're going to do for it. I mean, they have to do something big, don't they? They just have to.
Yeah, it's been much bigger than the 50th. I think.
Yeah,
I can see Matt Smith coming back as well. It's quite possible because he said he would only come back if it was with the pond. So if Russell did something with them, adding on to the story or something. But I do think it's going to be more centered with Donna's family.
yeah, I agree.
Um, but or like yeah, but with the new Doctor Who, I think like because it's the first time it was a girl, wasn't it? Of course, everyone moans about whoever the Doctor's going to be, but people are going to be like, it might not be a girl again because it didn't work that first time out. I think what would be a good way to do is maybe if you have a girl every so often, maybe the next time after shooting there'll be a girl, which which would be good because it's going to be interesting because Russell will not write Doctor Who probably for the rest of his life, so he'll hand it down to someone hopefully um it will show it justice.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've got to make the women Doctor more consistent, so it becomes just more regular. So people just kind of get used to it. I'm sure people are going to complain that this time is someone of color. So someone's going to complain about, oh, he's never been someone of color, and or the Doctor's never I mean, because considering obviously we don't know how the character's going to be played for this Doctor after David. So he could end up being gay maybe, or falling in love with a man. You know what I mean? Like they could literally do anything with it. And because he's played that sort of character before, obviously in Sex Education, because he obviously he's gay. So it's like they could try and play it off like that. They could literally do anything with him. So, but people just complain about like keeping it original, which I guess you can to a certain extent, but you know, you do have to adapt to the different sort of characters that they bring in to play the certain roles.
I agree. I agree. It's going to be very exciting, like the 50th and well, no, sorry, 60th. Not going back 10 years. Um, yeah. So, do you have a favorite episode like that you've watched? I know that it's probably a hard question, but do you have one that just comes to mind that you really like?
Oh, personally, I like there's either the one with the master is one, the one with the blood is the other. And I'd probably say Christian's last episode with with all the game room and stuff where Rose takes in the vortex. Like, I did really enjoy that episode.
I like that one too. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. One of my favorite scenes in that ever kind of storyline episode was, when he left Rose behind in the like said in the TARDIS. Like he did a little speech saying that Rose got to get in the TARDIS and abandoned, like, to keep her safe. I thought that was really good. I like that bit.
Yeah, they did that episode really really well, and the fact obviously she came back just to save him and stuff like that because he was pretty much gone for at that point. So it's good that they kept it really really like interesting, and I'm surprised because I thought that was going to be like, oh, okay, they're going to change the companion now because no way she's going to survive it. But how's she going to survive it? So obviously, he sucked in the vortex, and obviously that's when he changed. So, but yeah, they did it really really well.
They did. I really liked after that, and like the first series with David Tennant was great. Personally, I think the fourth series is one of the best of New Who, of Doctor Who. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Dalton, last few things before we finish. Do you have a favourite quote Doctor you relate to, or
Oh, let's have a think about this one. I don't know why, but it's such a weird. It's not really much of a quote. It's just what he says, and I kind of just base it into my because I've got weird autistic thinking. Like I just kind of imagine it with the weeping angels. He says, "Don't blink," and like I kind of just make that into my own life. Like try not to blink as much because you don't want to miss the kind of beauty of life and what like the things you can see like one like even if it's a split second, once it's gone it's gone. So just try not to blink and then just like or like close your eyes for example and just try not to miss anything that you wouldn't want to miss sort of thing. So yeah, don't blink, the main one.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, I like Weeping Angels. I've petrified them when I was growing up. I never blinked. I went to a Doctor Who experience when I was younger in London, and I didn't blink. I told my parents, "Don't blink," and I was being deadly serious. That's what I was joking.
Oh no, honestly, when I first watched that episode with Sally and stuff like that, when I used because where I live, we've got a cathedral and like loads of gargoyles and stuff like that. I just used to look at them like, no, I ain't not blinking on you. No.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like every Weeping Angel story, it's just really cool.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Do you have any advice about mental health and autism?
um, well, the thing with autism is like, you're born with it. Like, it's just you just accept yourself for who you are and try not to be anything different. Like, obviously we think differently, we see things differently. We don't think like the rest of the world. As a whole, we see things in a completely different aspect. I'd arguably say naturally we're actually smarter. Like we see things in such ways that people wouldn't even think of, or say things in ways that people wouldn't want to like even think of either. But with the autism and mental health, just be yourself and just speak out about it. Like you don't be ashamed whether you're male or female. Like we're all built the same, we bleed the same. We're all human in the day. We all feel things, and just try to be a lot nicer to anyone that you meet because you never know what they're going through behind the scenes. You don't know what's going on in their heads. So just put your best foot forward and try to be the best version of you that you can for yourself and for others.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because it's always the best to be like that. Like when having autism, I think it's hard growing up. I think with having autism, but as you get older, you get like more used to it and you know more about it. So I completely agree with you there, Dalton.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, at a young age, especially in school, you're outcasted quite easily because, you arguably seen as different so easily, and you attach yourself to something like like you with Doctor Who and me with wrestling. Like, I used to go to school with belts and stuff like that. That it wasn't normal for what a kid would do. You maybe go into school with like a Doctor Who action figure or something, like, because it was like your comfort thing. It's what made you feel like you. So
Yeah.
that was my thing growing up. And then as I got older, I just learned to accept one thing, and it's like, no matter how good you are to people, not everyone in this world is going to like you. So just be yourself, and the right people will.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like as we said before, you kind of find out who your true friends are. We're speaking about your story and stuff like that. So I think that it's something just to keep in mind, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, Darwin, I hope you've enjoyed today because it's been really cool speaking to you about Doctor Who, hobbies, mental health, autism, all that kind of stuff.
No, you too. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and keep up with the good work with mental health videos and stuff.
Thank you very much. You too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Darwin.
See you in a bit.